right. Got a full meeting today. Got truth and taxation around 6, so we'll get started with the roll call of school board members. Everyone is here. And start with communications and reports with the enrollment update.
Okay, if you see attached, good or bad, we are flat from last month's. So I mean, that's not a bad thing. Obviously, I'd like to grow a little bit. You can go through, I'm not going to read through each grade. Some are up, some are down just slightly. But overall, it's exactly the same as far as the head count goes. So I would say it's fairly comfortable, and that's where we're going to be. Obviously, we will gain and lose a little bit throughout the year, but it looks like we've leveled off. So I don't have a whole lot more than that on that unless someone has questions. You can look at the grades, like say elementary, one grade went down to, one went up to, that type of thing.
Any questions on enrollment? Okay. Finance update. Carla.
Well, hello.
Oh,
All right, so I'm going to start off. We're going to start in last year a little bit on those 3 questions about the revenue swing that we had. I just pulled like 3 areas that were the most impactful to our revenue swing, and our special ed cross subsidies came in about $400,000 more in revenue than I initially anticipated. So that was a huge sum of it. The next is the unemployment revenue that the state contributed to. We didn't know exactly how much they would be, so we left that as a 0 when we built the budget. And then Fund 2, the state aid for the meals came in a lot higher than we anticipated to it, roughly about 250,000. So that was the big chunk of the swing. So just wanted to make note of those. So going back into our November budget to actual, everything is staying pretty level with where we've been all year. Just to note, in the general fund, the supplies budget, we're still sitting at 52.6%. We're gonna watch that a little bit because we did cut that area this year. So it is gonna increase our percentage that we've used compared to last year. So we'll just kind of reassess in the next month when we get heavy into the amended budget. So anything stick out at anybody on that page that I'd like to ask questions on? Okay, so next page, going into the community education bucket. That is, I just want to let you know that preschool, our 4-year-old K is still sitting in there. That will be moving into the general fund when we go through the amended budget. That includes expenses, revenues, and the budget itself. So that is to take note. So that will change. And then kind of jumping back to food service, the expenses are a little bit higher, and that's just due to timing of payments that we've made. We've just been a little bit speedier on paying them this year. So those are the 2 notes of that page. Any questions there? Okay. Same with the treasurer's report. I have nothing really new to report there. We are up in our fund balance a little bit, so it's nice to see. Hopefully we can maintain that through the rest of the year. So that's all I had.
any questions for Carla? Thank you.
Yep.
Moving on to 4.3, administration and department head reports. Superintendent.
Alrighty, starting off, first of all, January 13th organizational meeting. Is that when we plan to do it? The first meeting? Just do that first and
That was my assumption, but does it?
I just wanted to check. I had one of the new board members I was in contact with, and I assume that from what you've done in the past.
It's the second. It's the
second Monday, so
So,
typically it says
yeah.
first Monday or when practical thereafter. And so
I cannot do the first Monday.
I
so
can't
I'm
either.
hoping for the second Monday.
Yeah.
Okay.
we'll do that first and then we'll go into.
Yep.
Okay,
January 13th,
13th.
not the 6th. Originally, it says the first
yep,
Monday.
regular meeting date. Just so you're aware, we've been, staff has been working on collections for community ed and school readiness. We're down to 2 families in 23-24 that are making 0 payments. And I just want to make sure the board is okay that we move on to the next step of trying to go to collections. One of them's a $3,500 bill.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, don't know what else to do. We've had multiple. That one actually promised to start paying and hasn't followed through. So I mean, can tell you a couple years ago, their child was written off. And so I'm sure that's what they're thinking is going to happen again. They don't qualify as far as we know, you know. So, I mean, I just want to make sure when we start moving, we're okay to do that.
Yes.
Okay, okay. This year's we're on to, okay. Just to, again, I mentioned my notes last week, last Monday, just like this morning. Just if you're getting any heat on road conditions or whatever, been out a little before 5, both mornings. There's 15 soups that are in a contact list that are talking. I was in, parking lot this morning at 5 o'clock coming from out of town. So I mean, we're, like I say, it's not, there's not a perfect scenario, but we made the call. Cody's been involved both times as well as Ron and out and about. So, if there are any questions or thoughts, by all means, let me know, but, we're trying to make the best decisions we can. Just a heads up or, update, the, survey for one of the steps or the first step, so to speak, in the updated strategic plan is out. Very happy to report 120 staff have already completed it. Sent hopefully a nice reminder to try and get more. Community, there's 123 so far. We'll again push that and keep, and then the student one is going out and starting this week. And so, it's underway. And again, like I say, encourage people to, fill it out and be heard at least. And plan is over break to spend a fair amount of time. The open-ended questions are going to take some time to compile, if you will, and that'll be one of the big pushes to try and get pulled together as quick as possible. I mentioned earlier, or there was a question earlier, and I just wanted to throw it up before we hit. There's an agenda item on there to increase the non-varsity, which is JV and C squad workers. Where that came from is the AD and Mr. Lohr had a conversation with me about it was paid minimum wage, so $11 an hour roughly. It's an hour and a half roughly for those games. Comes out to be a little over $16. Could we get it up to at least 20? Yeah, and so that's all we're trying to do is just try and get it a little higher and entice a little more. So again, we can talk more about that, but I just wanted a little history. Update, I think was last, and I don't think I mentioned it last time, meet and confer with the teachers union was canceled. There were no items. So it's again scheduled quarterly. And then decision on our facility committee, which was up to meet quarterly in December. We're just going to wait till January once the new group's in place. And so any questions on that? I have one other thing that I'll mention. Anything up to there? Okay. Just in advance, I was going to thank the Education Foundation for we have two things. One thing is thank Holly and the Education Association for the benefit to the staff and students. It's immeasurable and we never know how much. So we'll have you in just a minute, but prior to that, we have a couple thank yous. And on behalf, I'm going to say of students, staff, and the school board, we have two members leading us tonight. And obviously I'm a short timer, so I will let Lynn say some more words, but Brandon, first of all, a plaque for your 8 years of service, and maybe more importantly, your stamp and take your name tag as well.
I can, maybe if you want to do Eric and then I can address both of them.
And same thing, Eric, thank you on behalf of the family, students, staff, and the board, 9.5 years service to the district, and by all means, we don't say thank you enough. Thank you.
So I came onto the board and these two were senior members. I came on during COVID. I ran unopposed because who would want to do that? And and they both generously took me under their wing and showed me everything they knew and more. And I will never know what Eric knows. Sorry, but he knows the finance stuff and and so that's a lot. But I appreciate you both and all your guidance, and I still have your phone number. So so thank you.
That's all I have. If Holly wants
Okay.
to.
Yeah, we'll move on to Holly with the EGF Education Association.
All right, good evening. My name is Holly Wavra and I am the president of the East Grand Forks Education Foundation. I'm here along with my fellow foundation board members, Kelly Ensel and Katie Clevin, who is our staff liaison. I want to take a moment to publicly thank each of our board members for the time and energies they put into this process. The East Grand Forks Foundation is a wonderful organization to be a part of and certainly wouldn't be possible without the volunteers that make up our board. For them, I am very grateful. With that being said, it is a great pleasure that we are here this evening to award 14 individuals, teams, and their fellow staff in the district grants totaling $26,852.98 for a variety of projects that will impact students across grade levels. Grants are awarded to those applicants whose project applications meet the grant requirements set forth by our foundation. The foundation has been awarding grants covering all disciplines from both classroom level, grade level, and building-wide projects since 2010. On behalf of the foundation, we would like to award the following grants. If the recipients are here tonight, we ask you to come forward to collect your award along with your building administrator and stay standing for a photograph. Once we have you photographed, you are free to leave. All right. Nicole Pekka, preschool teacher at CMS Preschool, submitted a grant entitled Alphabet Blocks to purchase a set of square pop-up blocks that include uppercase, lowercase, and initial sounds that would be used amongst all the preschool classrooms to support literacy development. She was awarded full support in the amount of $209.99. Kelly Zabriskie, preschool teacher at the CMS Preschool, submitted a grant entitled Constructing Focus to create a learning environment where students can focus their energies into creating, building, and problem solving, all while improving their attentional levels, fine motor skills, and on-time task abilities. She was awarded full support in the amount of $1,554.88. Congratulations. Is Diane here? No? Okay. Actually, if you could snap that and the three of you can, that'd be great. Okay, great. Sarah Jelliffe et al., second grade teacher at New Heights Elementary, submitted a grant entitled Train Sets with Storage Totes. Sarah and the other second grade instructors hope to use this equipment during both free play and collaborative learning throughout the school year to enhance cognitive and motor skills. She was awarded full support in the amount of $909.58. Brittany Donarski, special education teacher at New Heights Elementary, submitted a grant entitled Enhancing Math and Literacy Centers for Special Education Students. Brittany's initiative aims to provide a multisensory, inclusive, and engaging learning environment with centers that will improve academic outcomes and foster a love for learning for K through 2 special education students. Brittany was awarded partial support of $1,000. Janina McKelvey, after school care coordinator with the After Wave program at New Heights Elementary, submitted a grant entitled After Wave Collaborative Play. Janina's goal for this project is to continue to meet the physical, emotional, and social needs to children in the after-school program through the use of equipment that supports collaborative play and gross motor skills. She will be able to share this equipment with the building FIED and special education staff for greater use and impact. She was awarded full funding in the amount of $2,988.61. And let's see, your building administrator, Chad, is here. So congratulations to all of you. In the back. Jill Walter and Beth Vetter, administrators for Central Middle School, submitted a grant entitled Branding Our School. They want to utilize these funds to create a physically welcoming school environment with classic, timeless school pride designed to promote school pride and community spirit. They were awarded partial funding in the amount of $3,250. Melanie Nelson, speech pathologist at Central Middle School, submitted a grant entitled Enhancing Seventh Grade Learning Through Strategic Reading and Board Games. Her project will be utilized to implement an innovative multidisciplinary approach to literacy development while boosting student collaboration, reading comprehension, cognitive skills, and problem solving. Melanie was awarded full support in the amount of $300. Amanda Adams, seventh grade language arts teacher, and Danica Pearson, grades 6 through 8th grade special education teacher at Central Middle School, submitted a grant for inclusive classrooms and empowered students. Her hope with these materials is to provide hands-on learning and inclusive activities to enhance student learning. They were awarded full support in the amount of $376.52. Jenny Lohr, CMS band director, submitted a grant proposal for new band instruments for the CMS bands, specifically 2 Conn advanced double horns. She was awarded partial funding contingent upon matching funds in the amount of $3,105. Alexandra Rice, special education teacher at Central Middle School, submitted a grant proposal entitled Resource Science Hands-on Learning. She intends to take learning beyond the textbook with mineral identification and rock tumbling kits. She was awarded full support in the amount of $500. And I think both administrators are here. Congratulations. Stacy Bach, senior high band director, submitted a grant proposal for a new Yamaha intermediate tuba. She was awarded partial funding contingent upon matching funds in the amount of $3,212.50. Carol Wheeler, along with Todd Schumacher, senior high science teachers, submitted a grant request for electronic balances for science labs. The lab experiences create hands-on learning activities to promote critical thinking, logic, reasoning skills, and real-world concepts. They were awarded full funding in the amount of $1,600. Emily Rumley, am I pronouncing that right? Special education strategist and life skills work experience coordinator, submitted a request for materials and activities that will promote student concentration, friendship building, and emotional regulation skills. Emily was awarded full funding in the amount of $680. Donovan Hanson, along with Alice Stokey, district vocal music instructors at the senior high and New Heights Elementary, submitted a proposal for partial funding to be used towards new choral risers for the senior high and New Heights Elementary. As the choral program has substantially grown in recent years, this equipment is necessary for both accommodating our district students, but also when the district hosts regional events such as the Fall Choral Festival. They were awarded full funding of their proposal in the amount of $7,165.90. Congratulations to all of you. We are excited to hear about your project outcomes in the days that follow. We look forward to future submissions. We truly are in awe of the effort that you put forth each day and every day to make East Grand Forks a great place for students to learn. Thank you to the East Grand Forks School Board and administrators for your support of our mission and for allowing us to be part of your meeting tonight. Together, we are better.
Thank you, Holly.
Thank you.
Who did I get? Yeah, I did. Yeah, she's got one. It's very generous of you and the foundation. Appreciate it. All right, do we have principals talking tonight? Okay. We'll start with Chad.
All right. Like, Mr. Grover said, we haven't lost too many students. We've gained a few. Some are more of our special ed kids that we've had, so we are working through some challenges, trying to accommodate some of our new students to East Grand Forks. Other things, some great things that are happening. We're finishing up about an 8-week cycle on interventions at New Heights. So every kid has had an intervention K through 2, a 30-minute reading intervention, 5 days a week. For the last 8 weeks, we are finishing that up next Wednesday. We will start testing our winter testing, so we will get to see what the fruits of our labor are here. And I will be presenting to you as soon as I can get all that put together, where we're at, what the improvements are. So it doesn't matter if they are our top student or our students that are struggling, everybody is getting an intervention of some sort. So we're looking forward to seeing that. So any questions?
It's a lot of work. Thank you.
Yep.
Melissa.
Good evening. Just want to share with you that teachers have been working diligently on OLA over during our early releases on Wednesdays, and we had our first live session that was completed on November 4th. And so we've delved into our 4th and now starting our 5th module. There's 9 modules that we have to complete throughout the school year, and our next one will be on January 29th. That next live session. Some fun things that have been happening at our school. Our 5th grade honor choir had their program last Thursday. We have 5th grade band program this Thursday, and we are still diligently looking for that 4th grade position to fill. Is there any questions?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Happy December. Here we are, right? Lots of energy, lots of excitement. Like South Point, CMS is in the middle of concert season. We have our 6th grade choir and band concert before Thanksgiving. We had 7th and 8th grade, and it was wonderful. And we pack our cafeteria, and we have to find more chairs when people come. And so, that's wonderful. Certainly a celebration of our music program, and we have a new music teacher this year, Mrs. Larson, who has done just an excellent job. So we have to celebrate that. So concert season, December's lots of fun, but we are working to keep our December focus too. So the fun is we started some staff bingo and some music in the hallways. And then we end on the 20th with our annual Minute to Win It, and our middle schoolers love that. And then we send them out the door. Which is smart on our part, I think. So lots of really good things in the winter. We have our Phi-Ed students heading to the VFW to play broomball and to skate if they choose to. Reminding our middle schoolers to wear their warm winter jackets or a jacket is always a little bit of a challenge because we really like hoodies when we're middle schoolers, and we think that that's warm enough on days like today. And our PLCs, our teachers are working on plans for students and building some interventions, but then also working on our Tier 1 curriculum mapping. Our science department is going to start the process, or continue the process, I should say, of reviewing curriculum so that they can make recommendations to you this spring for their review portion of the cycle that is coming. So they have very important work to do, and so we're going to give them some opportunities and some times to make sure that they are aligning the standards, to make sure that their maps are going to match with what we recognize the needs for our students based on assessments and results that they are working to review too. So looking forward to a really good December and keeping the energy in positive ways for our middle schoolers. Questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. We too did, I think I told you before, we've done STAR testing for the first time with our students. And so we also were able to get some intervention stuff with IXL. We do IXL every Thursday for 20 minutes and advisors. Every kid gets, they log in, they do their 20 minutes of work. So we'll see again in January how our kids are doing as far as testing is concerned. So that's kind of a cool thing. We've never done that before. So we had to get some training on IXL. We had to get some training on STAR testing, but we're hammering away. Usually each session with our kids in a 20-minute session, they'll do about 2,500 problems. So, or 2,500 different things. We're focusing more on reading than math, but in that 20-minute time period, we do a lot and get a lot done. So hopefully we can continue with that. Mrs. Bach was not at the thing tonight because she has a band concert. So if you are looking for a little culture and looking for to get yourself in a little holiday mood, this band concert's tonight, 7 o'clock in the PAC. If you're wondering why the electricity bill was a little higher for the school district, then you go to the band concert, you'll find out. Choir concert is next Monday as well. 7 o'clock in the PAC is for that as well. And if neither one of those things get you in the holiday spirit, you're obviously a Grinch. So that'll take care of that. So those two things going on. So exciting times for them. Wanted to recognize a couple of our athletes. Hit some big milestones that not very many people hit last week. Austin Russling, a senior boys basketball player, ended last year with 997 points in his career. So he needed 3. Obviously got that in game 1 against Roseau. Made it a little bit of a difficult thing, not a lot, but you know, in typical Austin Russling fashion, did it his own way. But he got his 1,000th point and a few more that day. And Tatum Vadova ended last year, her sophomore season, with 920 points, so she needed 80. She got that in game 4 against Red River on Friday night. So congratulations to those 2 athletes for getting on the big board, which doesn't happen to a lot of athletes. I always said if I had 5 more years of eligibility, I probably would have gotten there, but not quite. So congrats to those 2 people, obviously, for their great basketball careers. And Austin's got quite a few games left, and Tatum has a lot of games left. So she's a junior. So we'll see if she can beat her brother. So anyway, that's all I got.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
All right. Any committee reports? Okay. Moving on to 5.0 with the consent agenda, I'll make a motion to approve. Any questions or discussion on the consent agenda? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Got a couple minutes before we break for truth and taxation, so let's see. There's no opportunity, there's no citizens to speak today?
I don't have.
Okay. Move on to approve the agenda. Okay, Brandon, anybody second to?
I'll second.
Any questions or discussion on the agenda? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries to approve. Okay. This,
Second.
okay. Any questions or discussions on recessing before we, for truth and taxation? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? We're in recess. Now I gotta bring us back in, right? I gotta wait.
You want to go?
Carla?
I think so.
6 o'clock, we'll open the truth and taxation hearing and I'll turn it over to Carla.
All right. Okay, so welcome to our 24 payable, 25 truth and taxation public meeting. Slide 2. The Truth in Taxation Law, Minnesota's Truth in Taxation Law requires that cities, counties, and school districts follow certain steps before adopting a tax levy for the following year. One important part of that law requires a mailed notice to each property owner in the county, which describes the tax levies proposed by the city, county, and school districts, and what the percent increase such as a levy would mean in dollars. So the main goal of the public meeting is to meet those processes. Sorry, I'm gonna kind of breeze through these, so if they're, so the requirements that we need to do in the Truth and Taxation meeting is discuss the proposed property tax levy for the payable, 25, provide and discuss information on the current budget, and public must be given reasonable amount of time to comment on the proposed property tax levy and budget to ask further questions, and that's according to Minnesota statute 2275.065. So I would like just to point out probably the two of the main three things that the revenue formulas are set by the state legislature, except for voter approved revenues, and the local and levy and state aid mixes are set by the state legislature as well. And then we go into the fun part. How is my property tax determined? The county process assessor determines the market value for each parcel of property. Minnesota legislature sets the formula for the tax capacity. Those formulas determine how the tax burden will be split, and the county auditor calculates the tax capacity for each parcel based on the above information. And finally, the county auditor divides the total levy by the total tax capacity of the district and determine the tax rate as needed. And certain levies are spread across market value rather than tax capacity. So then we're going to get into this year's current year budget. So we've kind of talked about these in the past, so I'm going to highlight the main topics. So for Fund 1, we base it on revenue. The revenue is based on our student enrollment. It follows the students. And then the local referendum levy is part of the general fund, and it provides classroom instruction, instructional supplies and equipment, and other educational activities, along with a select more few things that don't fall as importantly as the rest. But Fund 2, school breakfast and lunch program. Then jumping into Fund 4, the levy is based on the adult population in the district, and early childhood levy is based on the number of children 5 years and younger. Any questions at this point? All right. Okay, so Fund 6, which we don't have a lot left of, contains bond dollars for current construction projects, and Fund 7 is our debt services based on the retirement schedule that we have set up. Then our 2024-25 budget overview is that our total revenue is going to be about 31.2 million, and our total expenses are going to be about 32.0 million, with most of it residing in the general fund. And then if you go to the next slide, we will break it down by where it's at, where we receive most of that revenue is in our state aid. And then the next up is our local taxes. And then our federal aid is about 2%. Our local other is our 4%, and that's just like what we charge students for their activities and such. Our expenditures, main bulk is going to be in your salaries, wages, and employee benefits, which accounts for about 82%. And then next up is purchase services, and then following by materials. And then following page, our general funds, this is broken down by program. So that's where we spend it most in the district, with 44% lying in our instructional salaries. And then finally, of this grouping is going to be components of the projected general fund balance at the end of June 30th of 2025. So we are projected to go down, if you want to go one more slide, Nancy, roughly about 800, which is what our shortfall is predicted to be. But that may swing as we adjust revenues going forward. So any questions up to that point? All right, so getting into the levy and this is what we're going to receive next year. So, the authority for school levies, we're going to, that's set up by the state formula or voter approved or board approved at the max of $724 per APU. Factors impacting that change is legislative decision, which can be a change in the sales ratio for anticipated aid, change in tax capacity rate, laws mandating code compliance, and then what is determined by district voters, which is your voter approved building bonds and excess levy referendums. And then what local factors can contribute is inflationary pressures on the real estate market, abatements, property improvements not previously taxed, change in individual assessed market values, and possible changes in properties classifications. And then also impacting at the state level is the Ag to School credit, which is currently set at 70%, and as far as I know, not projected to go increased. All right, so this is how your 25 school taxes shall be spent. 54% of it will be spent in the general fund, which includes funding for operating capital, building, land and lease, achievement and integration, safe schools, CTE, career technical education, and long-term facilities. 2% is community ed, and 44% is spending down our debt. Then what we are proposing for a levy limitation and certification is a total of $4,366,090, if I said that right, which is an increase of roughly 6%. So any questions there? Okay, and then going down, this is the breakdown of how those dollars are going to be spent or shuffled out between the groups of funding. So that's those, with most of it lying in the operating referendum. So then the proposed tax levy that we are requesting to be resolution tonight is $4,366,000, and I keep saying that wrong, I'm sorry, $4,366,090 and some cents. So, and then the last page is the breakdown of what we are requesting of how the property values are separated between the group. Sorry, that was really fast to go through, but.
One thing that should be mentioned, you skim through it, but I think we should highlight, just because taxes go up does not mean that the revenue goes up for the
Correct.
district. So people
Yep,
understand that. I know you had it as one of your bullets, but I don't know
I probably did.
if you said it.
Yeah.
So that's just important for the general public to know that, just
Yes.
because if your taxes are going up, that doesn't mean.
No, it depends on property value.
Yep.
Yep,
And the number of people in the district and just things change.
correct.
I do have one question, Carla, and
Yeah.
I think we have a chance anyway to discuss this anyway when it's on the agenda. But when that shortfall, one of the first slides was roughly that same $1 million shortfall.
Yep,
You think if that's adjusted, that's going to be very similar to what you just reported to us at the beginning of this meeting?
it could be, and that's just part of the learning process for myself right
Sure.
now is that revenue piece. I don't want to say for a fact, but
Well, right, but I mean,
you know,
that's what it looks like, at least. It appears right now.
yeah, it
most
like
likely.
looking at our budget to actual right now, it looks like it's going to come up.
Okay.
So we're not going to finish that.
Sure.
But
And I think the piece I would mention from what we're looking at is our enrollment is up higher than
Right.
was predicted, so that helps.
yes,
The food service came out better, something that I was not, pushed forward. The sped cross subsidy is up, so I mean, all of those together should, but on the other hand, you know how things go.
And
Last
it's
winter,
better to be conservative
well,
with your
I mean,
guesstimates than,
yeah.
right.
But we have, and it's a piece, facility-wise, we'll talk about, and I mentioned in my little notes last week, we did go through and trim in the facilities area anywhere we thought we could. And one of the downfalls to that is, there are certain places like in maintenance where there was $200,000-300,000 for some of these what ifs, you know, when, well, we're taking some of that out. So I mean, that's the, you know, you hope things keep going smooth, but that's the challenge with that, or the possible, you know, downside to it is when you get rid of all the cushion. You know, but that's why, like I said, or Carla had mentioned, you know, looks like our percent is up. Part of that's because if you take 300,000 out, all of a sudden, yeah, if you'd spent, just say a million budgeted and you take 300,000 out and you've spent 300, that percent just went up because now it's out of 700,000. So we'll see.
What did we use for enrollment in our original budget?
I can't
Recall?
recall.
Is it like 1,900?
I think it was over that, to be
It
honest
was?
with you. That was part of my hard drive that I lost. So I tried to find it today and recreate it, but I couldn't.
Okay.
So
We used over 1,900.
I believe we did, but I'm not 100% sure.
But the thought was it was not 1940, you know,
Yeah.
roughly
No.
where we're at,
It
like
wasn't much, yeah.
1910 or something, you know, so there could be 300,000 there roughly. That we're hoping or more.
So
Did, has the state said, are those, unemployment benefits, is that gonna be roughly the same next year? I mean, last year that was kind of a what if to us. Have they given any more guidance?
Well, so what is, and don't quote me on the numbers, but roughly like 48,000 the first summer or 43,000. It went up to, I think, 56, 58 this year. So there's about 38,000 left, I think is the number I saw. So not enough to fully fund. Now the question is, will this legislative session, will they put, you know, obviously the outlook forecast didn't come out great.
And I'm sure they'll push for it again.
Correct, but that being said, we also have to think, I think they threw out somewhere around 60% right now if it held steady. You know, so the district could be on the ballpark, what was it, 200 and some thousand?
about
You know,
that
so I mean, we could be on the ball 40,000 or 40% if that doesn't hold
Right.
true. So I mean, that's significant. You know, roughly $100,000.
Right, any other questions, comments, Carla? Not, we'll close the hearing. Do I need a motion for that?
Yeah.
One-
I'll make a motion to
Okay.
close the truth and taxation.
I'll second.
Any questions or discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're closing the truth and taxation hearing and we're reconvening the regular meeting. So we're moving on to 12.0 district business. 12.1 is to approve the certification of the 2024 payable 2025 levy. This is a resolution, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it here. So I'll make the motion. Nancy, you want me to read it all?
I don't.
Well, we have,
It should be.
it's in Carla's,
Yeah.
the packet. It's a resolution though, so. I'll just move for the resolution pursuant to Minnesota statutes, blah, 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 the East Grand Forks School Board and East Grand Forks School District for a total proposed school tax levy, $4,366,090.
I'll second.
Okay, take roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Great. 6-0, motion's approved. Payable levy is approved. All right, 12.2, increasing the non-varsity event workers' pay for the JV and C squad workers' pay from a minimum wage to 13.50 an hour. I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Any questions or discussion on this? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 12.3 is to adopt the superintendent goals as presented and attached in board book.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any questions or discussion on these?
And I think the only thing I would comment is we're working on, you know, now like a rubric or a scale, you know, type deal now to go with this and others that we'll get in the next month or two or whatever.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 12.4 is to accept the donations to the school district.
I will make a motion to accept the following donations, and I believe this first donation is just a correction on the amount that we listed in the last meeting. This is the corrected amount. but we have a donation from Joyce Zach to the senior high for the Monty Zach Scholarship in the amount of $1,000. And a donation from the senior parents to the senior high football program in the amount of $1,300. Total donations, $2,300 today.
Seconds? Any questions or discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 13.0 payment of claims and accounts. Feel like we should take your picture for doing this.
Won't miss this part. I'll move to approve the payment of K-12 bills numbers 128347 through 128440 and EFTs in the amount of $1,244,190.26.
I'll second.
Any questions or discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 14.0 board member comments. Eric, we'll start with you.
Just want to say a quick thank you to all the staff that I've worked with over the last several years. You know, I think we've accomplished a lot of great things and went through a lot of interesting times. But I'd say that the district's in really good hands right now. And just excited to continue to watch from a distance. So thank you all.
I'll say thank you to the EGF Education Association again for all the grants they gave out tonight. And thank you, Eric and Brandon, for your service to the school.
A lot of the same here. I want to say thank you to Eric and Brandon too for, like you, Lynn, they kind of showed me a lot of the ways and taught me a lot of things along the way, and it was good working with you guys. And yeah, I think you said it best. We're district's in good hands, but we really appreciate your service over the years. And again, thank you to the Education Foundation.
Amanda?
I just want to say congrats to the teachers and staff that got the grants, and thank you to Eric and Brandon, and have a Merry Christmas.
Brandon?
I have a speech written.
No.
No, I guess I echo what Eric says, certainly. Thank you, first of all, to board members that are up here, but I want to thank the previous board members that mentored us, mentored myself. I came on the board. We had a couple of things that we wanted to get done. We got them done in short fashion. Got all the students to one-to-one. As we worked on that, and things kind of hit the fan, and we ran through COVID, which was a difficult time. I too echo Eric's comments that I feel it was my goal when I got on the board that if I do get off the board or decide not to rerun, to leave it better than I found it. I think we've left it better than we found it. We have good leadership all the way from the top, all the way through our administrators and our teachers. So, you know, thanks to all the groups, the leaders over the years, and our continued administrators. And I guess I'd be amiss if I didn't thank my family for putting up with some of the things that I've had to deal with over time, and some of the issues. It's you know, yes, this is essentially a volunteer job that we all do up here, but I want to thank everybody for stepping up and doing that, because there can be some difficult things, and it can make for some difficult conversations in the community. But thank you to everybody. The board's in good hands, and the district's in good hands. So that's what I'm most proud of. So thank you. Thanks for my stamp too.
And do take your nameplates if you can leave the holder. but you might as well
Don't take
the-
the holder. I just want to give a heartfelt thanks again to Brandon and Eric. They have taught me a lot, so I very much appreciate you both. I'm putting a plug in for 4th grade. We need a teacher. I know there's people out there who want to be our teacher. Strategic plan survey, make sure that you're taking that when that comes to your group. Thank you to the EGF Education Association for all those grants. That's truly generous. Yes, happy holidays to all.
Can I put one more plug? Everyone should have a Region 1
Oh, yes.
vote here, and I have an envelope. If you would take 2 seconds and vote, and we can put it in here. I don't need the 2 other pages. I just like to send something back. It shows that our district is involved. We use Region 1 for services. So as you leave and walk out, if you would just put the 1 page, if you want, you don't have to vote, but I'd like to send them something back. Yeah, and happy holidays.
So with that, I will take, you'll move to adjourn the meeting. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Great. Any questions or discussion? Oh, just, January 13th is the organizational meeting. 5:30, 2025. Okay. Any questions or discussion on adjourning? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, everybody.